cosmos. On this grand stage, man fancies himself an actor. He is but vermin groveling beneath the floorboards. It's a rigged game. There are ways of ascension for those unburdened by childish notions of morality. But I've bent the rules before. This time, I will see them break.
Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about a indie game that I found recently while scrolling through the Nintendo eStore that really surprised me, and it's a game that I want to talk about. This game is called Mad Shot, made and developed by Overflow Studios. Mad Shot is a roguelike that takes inspiration from popular stories slash a popular genre in horror called cosmic horror. A genre which is usually talking about the fear of the unknown or something that's bigger than us. This game takes everything that we know about cosmic horror and turns it overhead and just turns it into a exploding mess of blood, guts, and gore. From the creature design to the bosses to even the environments that you're in, definitely have inspiration to most popular stories such as Cult of Cthulhu, The King in Yellow, and most importantly, In the Mountain of Madness, and many other different stories in the cosmic horror genre. You can definitely see the inspiration in a lot of the art style, again, like the enemies that you face. It's just, amazing. I love the art style. I fell in love with this game instantly, and I definitely think that you guys should check it out, especially after we get done talking about it. The game has tons of Easter eggs, great gameplay, and just fun all around story. Even though the story is harder to find than a Dark Souls title, I had the privilege to try to just figure everything out, and I'm going to try to get through it as best as I can to talk about the story. But before we get into everything and start discussing the story and the gameplay and how everything works, how about you like and subscribe? I know it's usually pretty hard to watch these kinds of videos, but I work pretty hard on them. So if you haven't yet, try to like and subscribe and just have a good time. Get your popcorn, because right now we're about to witness something that's straight out of madness. Our story begins with a vague description of the current events where our main character is an ex-cultist who used to worship Cthulhu, and his significant other has been brutally murdered by one of the cult members, or at least by Cthulhu himself. Our main character sells his soul to another entity called the King in Yellow, who also does not like Cthulhu and dons the mask of his former master, which helps him with all the magical abilities and acrobatics that you'll be able to use in the game.
I will see them break.
Now, the game has a lot of randomization, a lot of good randomizations too. lots of skills that you can go, lots of floors that you can always find, and lots of bosses and mini bosses that you can fight. The game itself has a lot of replay value. I fell in love with it when I started playing it, and I think you guys will too. So what's the gameplay loop, you ask? You spawn in a mansion where you can buy purchases or upgrades or whatever, and then set yourself inside of the game's levels, where you can stab, shoot, throw crap at people, whatever you want. And in order to proceed to the next level, you have to kill as many enemies as you can to get through this portal, which, after getting the right amount of blood to open the portal, can cause a huge explosion that kills all the rest of the enemies on the map. But stepping through the portal will bring you to the overall map, which every time you play is randomly generated. In some levels, you can actually see what the award is before you step through. Some include gold, stores, and stuff that can help you purchase things, or stuff that can help you learn more skills, things like that. While some others hold mini bosses or powerful enemies that give you greater rewards. But you can also scout to see what later levels are going to be. And then at the end of every journey or part of the level set, you will find different bosses that will keep you from getting to Cthulhu. Which, after completing a zone, you will move on to the next, where you will meet more complicated stages, enemies, and better rewards. And you might be thinking, well, it sounds a lot like a lot of other roguelikes, in which, yeah, it is. It doesn't try to change too much of the roguelike genre, but adding a new sense and spice to the genre. The combat system in Mad Shot is acrobatic and hard-hitting. The game will want you flying, flipping everywhere that you can to dodge all the monsters and critters that you will be facing. For defense, you can usually roll through enemies or have different types of dodge moves that you can learn by completing stages. Another great thing about the combat system is that you can pick up anything that isn't nailed down. You can just throw them at people. This includes sever heads, bombs, arms, things like that. You can also pick up the occasional sub-weapon that usually includes something pretty powerful, or upgrade your moveset, including swords or hell, even stabs that shoot magical lightning, or summon the enemies to help you in combat. The gameplay is silky smooth and highly responsive, and just ultimately just really fun. You can create many different types of builds that you want throughout the game, and it's just generally just a fun time when you can just build your character however you want. There are many different weapons, sub-weapons, magical powers that you can equip, de-equip, and skills that you can have that just make everything extremely versatile. And you're gonna want those good upgrades, because Mad Shot will wipe the floor with you. Sometimes I've had a difficult time getting through a lot of the enemies because I was properly equipped. So you have to consider your options very carefully and build your character the right way. And it doesn't help that even some of the bosses will definitely wipe the floor with you, with them having build specific move sets or skill issues. I'm not saying it's the Dark Souls of roguelikes, but you will have a tough time with them. Bullets aren't the only way to dominate your enemies in Mad Shot. You can also find and equip different skills that can upgrade your build set drastically, from acid bullets to even the way that you even play the game, to even skills that you can upgrade around the maps. And besides skills, you can also earn alterations, which are usually weapon upgrades or that kind of matter that can alter the way that you play the game. Especially, adding things like toxic damage to your weapon, more health, things like that. And more different skills like summoning the sword to attack enemies and whatnot. And it's still crazy to me that even after hundreds and hours of playing, I have still found so many different alterations for my builds, including prize fighter and other types of, different skills. You read them here and look at them yourself. They are amazing and so fun. It can be a grindy roguelike when you have to find a way to get them all. I mean, it will take you a while to equip some of the best ones after you find out what you're really good at or what you're looking for in your builds. Also, throughout the levels are stores where you can purchase certain items and boost, not including the people, random encounters, or whatever the hell this is. But after finding some of these people, you will also get bonuses for completing certain things like answering a question or, usually a puzzle or a riddle to solve. And some of them give you negative stuff. But, you usually, like, the way that you do it is basically just like it gives you like a question like, hey, do you want to lose this? And, all that kind of thing. You get like a perk or a bonus to your builds. It's usually all random, but you can find some good, random encounters. The other upgrade system that you can find throughout the game is something called the Prima Materia, which can usually be earned by killing bosses, which can help you buy things like new cosmetics or certain upgrades to your ultimate or, certain upgrades for builds, hell, even cosmetics to your guns and other things. And each, ultimate serves a different purpose for different types of builds, and all of them are awesome as hell. Now, with everything that I said, this game is a magnificent source of entertainment when it comes to being a roguelike, and also some of the best examples of combat that you'll ever see in a video game. The combat is addicting, the guns feel weighty and awesome, the skills feel magical and powerful, and everything about this game probably just makes it my favorite roguelike after so many that I've played before. Now, you can probably tell from this art style that this game is heavily inspired by famous comic books such as Hellboy or anything that's, created by Hellboy, in my opinion, because Hellboy is like one of the best cosmic horror, comics out there. Definitely check Hellboy out, but you can definitely tell by everything. But what I fell in love with most in this game is actually the wide variety of enemy designs. From your common zombie to the darkest wizard that you ever seen in D&D to even the biggest piece of hell spawn that you'll ever see, this game, has a lot of enemies from popular pieces of cosmic media. One of the best aspects also about this game is the heavy metal soundtrack that plays in the background, which definitely fits the mood of a cultist who goes around killing people, and just hear it for yourself. This game is a Lovecraftian masterpiece. Besides most horror games in the Lovecraftian or cosmic, genre, I definitely feel like this game has got something else going for it. It makes or hits all the right spots for some of the greatest roguelikes ever out there. And honestly, you guys should definitely give it a try. From the action to the bosses to the underlying story of everything, it's just an amazing game that is just heavily and heavenly fun and just will you know, take your time away because I've taken some time out of this game. It's so fun for when I'm, working on stuff. It's just fun to get into every now and then. But either way, Mad Shot definitely gives my recommendation. I definitely recommend it for people who are new to the roguelike genre or new to the cosmic horror space. And, just cosmic HB Lovecraft horror in general. It's a masterclass of everything that makes every other genre perfect. And to be honest, give it a shot. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. If you haven't yet, please go and subscribe and definitely check this game out. You can usually only find this game on the Nintendo Switch or PC. Just go check it out. I don't know why it's not on any other consoles, but I definitely recommend finding a Switch or playing on your Steam Deck or computer to play it, pass some time, have fun with it. is one of the best, indie games that I've played this year, and just go check it out. Like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye bye. Love, Red Safe Point. Bye bye.
Yep. Yep. Yep.